Sir is
Yeah,
here.
hi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, everyone. Okay. Hello, friends. Good afternoon, everyone. Those who came late. So we're about to start our today's class, today's lecture. So in our last class, yesterday, I just started the discussion about the basics of C language, C programming language, the history of C programming language, how it is evolved, who is a developer, who was a developer, C programming language, and its basic characteristic. And we have mainly give our focus on modular programming approach and give you a overall introduction about how we can define a basic structure of a C program, right? So today I would like to discuss with you some more details about the C programming, how we can write a C program, and how we can handle the very basic C program with the help of its variables and data types. Okay, so listen very carefully. Let me share my screen first. I think the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, okay. Okay, so my main objective of today to discuss with you about the data types, especially C programming data types. Actually, these data types will be changing from language to language basis. Okay, uh, like in C programming, you are going to face a list of data types. In the same way, in Java programming, you are going to face some other list of data types. Like in Python programming, you are going to face some other list of data types. But overall, the most of the data types and its definitions are similar with each other. Only their syntax and some of the special data types in each and every programming language must use. So you have to aware about all those data types. Okay. So what is data types? As the name suggests, it is a such type of thing by the help of which you can represent what data you're using. Okay. So data types means it generally consists of two terms, data and types. That means it is something by the help of which you are going to represent which type of data you are using. Okay. Which type of data you are using. Okay. As for example, suppose you you are actually represent, suppose you are standing in front of a highway. Okay, there are several cars are passing. Okay, now there are three friends who are standing in front of the highway. Okay, all the three friends of you. Now if as I am your teacher and I am asking you, one of your friend, that how you are going to see the vehicles which are moving on the road, how you are going to see, then how you are going to see this overall situation. Then that particular candidate is telling me that, sir, I actually counted the number of those vehicles. That is his observation, his or her observation. Okay, so I think I asked him that counting means what. Counting means he is counting the how many vehicles are passing in last 1 hour. So I am asking him what is the number. He is telling me that there are total 100 vehicles are passing on the highway in last 1 hour. Total 100 vehicles are passing, okay, on highway in last 1 hour. Okay, that is his observation. Okay, trying to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, 100 vehicles are passing on highway in last 1 hour. That is the observation of first friend, the first guy, what I will say. Now, second guy, I'm asking the second guy how you are looking this situation, or what is your observation about this situation. Now, he is telling me, sir, I am counting the uh, the price of the vehicles, the price of the vehicles. Okay, which are passing in last 1 hour on the highway. The second friend's job is to counting the price. Okay, so the first friend job is to counting the number of vehicles, and second friend job is to counting the price of the vehicle. Right? Now the last friend left, third friend, the remaining friend. Now I'm asking him, what is your observation in this situation? Now that guy is telling me, sir, I am trying to, figure it out, the person who is driving the vehicle, whether she is male or female, right? Whether she is male or female, or senior citizen, or a young guy, or you can say a school student. So about the characters, his main observation about the characters, right? Who is driving? So who is the driver of vehicles in last 1 hour? That is the observation of third friend. Okay, clear? I think these three things are clear to you, right? Now the first friend will represent his observation, that is number of vehicles, in the form of a data types which represents numbers. Okay, so in C programming, data types which represent numbers are called integer. In C programming, data types which represents numbers is called integer, right? So he said int number of vehicles is equal to 100, right? He represents in this code. Okay, int number of vehicles equal to 100. That means this number of vehicles is a variables that he is trying to represent on that particular situation, and that variable stores the value which is integer type. That means the numbers which represents how many numbers of vehicles are passing in last 1 hour. That's why it has been represented as int, and this int is a short form of the integer. Please remember, int is a short form of the integer, or you can say the abbreviated form of the integer. And this int form we are using in our programming language while we are writing our code. Okay, we can tell that thing as an integer. We should tell that thing as an integer. It's the full form. But while we are writing our C code, we will represent this integer full form in the form of int. Okay, up to this clear? Everyone clear? Anyone has any doubt? Tell me.
No, sir.
Clear?
No, sir, cleared.
Okay, now the
No,
second. Okay, fine. So now the second friend is telling that his responsibility is to observe the situation in the form of price of the vehicles, right? Now, price of the vehicles he is trying to represent in the form of float. Okay, floating in the form of floating. So data types that which represents the price of the vehicle in C programming is known as floating. Okay, floating means it represents such kind of numbers which has some decimal points or decimal values. Okay, so integer generally focus on real numbers, that's within the range of 0 to 9, whereas for floating represents the decimal numbers. Okay, as for example, the short form or abbreviated form of floating is float, right? Abbreviated form of floating is float. Then price of the vehicle, so price of vehicle, okay, is equal to, suppose one vehicle price I am going to sharing here. I am not going to share the 100 vehicle price. I am going to share only one vehicle price. Okay, suppose the vehicle price is, suppose 4,50,000. Okay, and suppose 90 paisa, like this. Okay, 4,50,000 90 paisa, right? So this is the price of a vehicle. Okay, but that price is represented in the form of floating point numbers. Why it is called floating point numbers? Because this point, which is a decimal point, is floating based on the operation that you are performing on this number. So suppose if you multiply this value with 10 to the power something, with 10 to the power some negative number, suppose minus 2, suppose minus 2, then the floating point, what will be the results? Can anyone tell me what is the result after multiplication? 450
450
0
0.0090.
okay, 0.0090, right? And if some other guys will represent the same number or multiply the same number, instead of 10 to the power negative value, it will multiply with a positive value. Suppose 10 to the power plus 2 instead of minus 2. Then how the number will be represented? 45000090.
90.
You can omit this 0, it's your choice, no problem, but I work with that. So you can understand this point is actually floating based on the multiplication of 10 to the power this exponent part. If we multiply this exponent part with this number, so this number is floating. The point can be shifted earlier if we will multiply with minus 10 to the power minus exponent, and the point will be shifted at the right side if you multiply with 10 to the power some positive exponent. Okay, so that's why it is called floating point, because the point is floating throughout the numbers. Okay, either it will float towards left or it will float towards right based on the changes. So that's why it's called floating point. Okay, why it is called floating point is a very, lots of people doesn't know. Some of the people know that it is called floating point, but why it is called floating point, many people doesn't know that. Okay, and the third friend who will represent the his observation in terms of the driver, the whether the driver is a male or female, or in more specific categorization like kid or young or young, or you can say middle age or a senior citizen, like this. Okay, so he represents the overall thing in terms of a data type called character. Okay, he represents the entire thing in terms of the data type called character. And in C, the character will be represented in the abbreviated form of char. Okay, the short form or abbreviated form of char. While we're writing our program, we'll write in this way: char, driver of vehicles. Whose microphone is on? Okay, so char, driver of vehicles, and here we should use a double quote to represent whether the driver of vehicle is male or female. The driver of vehicle is male. Okay, in this way, right? So this is the way of how we can represent different kinds of data types in C. So it has a huge list. Okay, it is a long list of how many types of data types are there. So I think it is clear to everyone how we can represent different kind of data types in C. Okay, these are very basic example, a real life example I am discussing with you, right? Now, based on this concept, we divide the data types into majorly 4 types. The first type of data type is called primitive data type, which is most popular and most widely used. Okay. Second kind of data type in C is called derived data types. Third kind of data type is called enumeration data types. Okay. And fourth kind of data type is called void data types. These are the broad classification of data types in C programming language. Okay, so primitive data types, derived data types, enumerated data types or enumeration data types, and void data types. Okay, so let's talk about some primitive data types. So the total number of primitive data types are generally represented These are the primitive data types. Okay, total you can say 8 type of primitive data types that exist. Okay, overall. Okay, so within 8 there are some specialized classification of those primitive data types. Like the first kind of data type is the character data type. Okay, this table is very, very important. You should remember this table. This table will represent the data types. Okay, the size of the data type, that means how much memory space this data type variable will occupy while you are writing your code, right? So as for this example, if I am writing this code, okay, then in the memory, a block of memory will be created to store this number. A block of memory will be created to store this number. Okay, and it will take 2 bytes of memory space. It will take 2 bytes of memory space to hold this number or to store this number. So the capacity or the storage size of an integer variable in a memory. Okay, memory means in computer memory, in computer system memory is 2 byte. 2 byte mean how many bits? I already discussed with you. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So 2 bytes means total 8 into 2, 16 bits. Okay, so 16 bits will be occupied 0, 1, 1, 0. So this 100 will be converted in the form of 16 bits. Okay, so if 100 will become converted less than the 16 bits, then the extra 0 will be padded at the left hand side of the bits, right? That I already showed a couple of times in last couple of classes. Okay, how can I do the padding? In the same way, if we are going to store a floating type of data type like this price of vehicle, then that data type will hold 4 bytes of memory space. 4 bytes of memory space. Okay, floating numbers or floating type. 4 bytes mean how many bits? 4 into 8, 32 bits, right?
32.
32 bits. Now, character is the smallest data type in C programming language, which will hold 1 byte of memory space. 1 byte of memory space. 1 byte means total 8 bits, right? So data types are mainly responsible. Listen very carefully. Data types are mainly responsible to represent a type of a variable. Data type is mainly responsible to represent a type of a variable. Suppose a fruit basket is kept on the table in front of you, right? That fruit basket generally consists of various kinds of fruits. It consists of apple, orange, banana, or various other kind of fruits, right? Now, if I will ask you that in this case, which one is the data type and which one is the data, or you can say which one is the data type and which one is the variable here. So here, the data type is fruit, okay, and the apple or orange or banana, these are the variables here. Am I clear? Fruit is the data type here because the type of the all these apple, orange, banana, because they belongs to a single class, that is fruit class, and fruit represents the type of the class. Okay, is it clear to you? And this apple, orange, banana are the data types. Clear? So this is our different examples, right? Now in this way, this data type has been divided into such number of systems, right? So character is 1 byte, I already discussed, and the character will be divided into 2 types: unsigned character, signed character. Let's right now just remember what is unsigned, what is signed. Try to understand it. What is unsigned, what is signed? Unsigned are generally represent a positive character range, whereas signed generally represent a negative character range. Okay, so actually character doesn't have any positive negative sense, but internally it will divide it into these 2 categories, right? Especially integer is applicable, it's fully applicable with this unsigned and signed concept. Integer is fully applicable with this unsigned and signed concept. Okay, this only integer is actually represents the signed integer, and without uh, this, that means the by default it will represent signed integers, and this is unsigned integers. Signed integers generally represent a negative numbers, and unsigned integers are generally represent a positive number. Try to understand. Signed integer generally represent negative numbers and unsigned integer generally represent positive numbers, right? So if we have an axis here, try to understand. Suppose we have an axis here, right? And the axis is divided into two equal parts. Okay. The middle point of the axis will be represented by 0. Okay. The middle point of the axis will be represented by 0. Okay, this is 0. So this side is actually represents the positive numbers, and this side actually represents the negative numbers. Okay. Now the thing is that in case of I'm discussing about the character because character is easier to discussing. So for the cat data type, in case of cat data type, if 0 will be started, so all the numbers belongs to this region, okay, are positive numbers. That means started from 0 to any positive number, right? And all the numbers belongs to this region are negative number. That means started from 0 to a negative number, right? So positive numbers in character, in case of character, the positive number range starting from 0 to plus 128, and the negative number range starting from minus 127 to 0. Minus 127 to 0, and this is 0 to 1 plus 120 is the positive number. Look at the table. The table has been represented in such a way. Minus 128 to plus 127. Minus 128 to plus 127. Sorry, I made a mistake. Minus 128 to plus 127. Okay, clear? So a character can be represented in the form of character or integer, whatever you say. If you consider integer, the same thing will happen. Only this range has been changed because integer range is quite high compared to character because integer size is 2 bytes, whereas character size is 1 byte. So it is just double. Integer size is just double. That's why the range of the integer is quite high compared to character. Right. Now, this is in case of signed character. Signed character means which has a negative value as well as positive value. But in case of a normal character or unsigned character, all the parts will be a positive value, 0 to 255. What is 0 to 255? If we shift this axis here, then entire region will be the part of the positive value. Entire region will be the part of the positive value, right? Okay. So what actually happened? We actually did 128 plus 127. 128 plus 127, right? So is equivalent to 255. 128 plus 127 is equivalent to 255. Okay. So let's check the table. It is starting from 0 to 255. Okay, we simply add these two numbers to get the highest range at the positive side here. Is it clear? Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In no
Sir,
book.
hello, sir.
Yes, in no book this thing has been discussed. Okay, you will never find in any book because this strategy I have actually using for giving you the understanding, giving my students the understanding to remember it. Don't need to memorize it. In most of the book, they are only giving this table and they tell to memorize it. But I always tell to memorize only the starting range and ending range, and rest of the things you can calculate by yourself. So you can understand the positive, negative, both the numbers can be represented by a signed character. That's why the negative range and positive range has been given to you. And the unsigned character will represent only the positive numbers. That's why the positive range has been given to you. Similarly, in case of integer, it's a 2 byte. Okay. In case of integer, the negative number range has been given. Look, minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. A negative to positive range has been given, means lowest range at the left hand side of the axis, and this is the highest range or positive range at the right hand side of the axis. So if we'll represent the integer in the form of unsigned means there should not be any negative value. So simply you will add these two numbers and you will get this number 65,535. So this is the entire positive range of integer number. Okay, there is another data type called short. Okay, which is also a 2 byte. Okay, which also has a similar range of integer, but sometimes integer has 2 bytes and sometimes integer has 4 bytes. So can anyone tell me why it is written as 2 bytes or 4 bytes? Any one of you? Why it is written as 2 bytes or 4 bytes? I am telling you 2 bytes. The why it is written as 2 bytes or 4 bytes?
সেটা
Sir,
কম্পিউটার
60
সিস্টেমে উনি
64 বিট আর 64 বিট আর 32 বিটের ক্ষেত্রে আলাদা হয়।
No, no. Actually, শুনে রাখো, remember it carefully because the interviewer will ask this question multiple amount of times. Okay, C data types are machine dependent. Write it down. C data types are machine dependent, whereas Java data types are machine independent. কি বললাম? C data types are machine dependent, whereas Java data types are machine independent. It's very, very important statement that you should remember. Independent. Okay, what do you mean by independent and what do you mean by dependent? Sorry, C data types are machine dependent. What do you mean by independent? What do you mean by dependent? So data types are machine dependent means if the architecture of the machine will change, the data type and its characteristic and its size, especially size, not characteristics, especially size of the data type will also change. Okay, so in some of the architecture of the system, okay, where the operating system is different, the basic underlying microprocessor architecture is different, the compiler architecture is different. In some cases it will be 4 bytes and in some cases it will be 2 bytes, or both are correct. Am I clear? Both are correct. In some cases it will be 2 bytes, in some cases it will be 4 bytes. When the integer in some architecture, when the integer size is 2 byte, then the short size is 1 byte. Remember it. In some architecture, when the integer size is 2 bytes, the short size is 1 byte. And in some architecture, when the integer size is 4 bytes, the short size is 2 byte. Short integer take half of it always. The size of a short variable is always half of the integer variable, generally high. Okay, clear? Understood why C data types are called machine dependent and Java data types are machine independent. That means whatever architecture you are going to use, whatever platform you are going to use, whatever operating system or compiler or interpreter you are going to use, Java data types size are always fixed, remain fixed. And in integer, in case of Java, integer size is always 4 bytes, and that is throughout any position of this world, throughout any architecture of a system, the Java data types are always remains the fixed size. That's why Java data types are machine independent. Machine upor dependent noy. And C data types are machine dependent. Okay, because machine to machine, the data type size will vary. Clear? Am I clear? বুঝতে পারলে? Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's check it out. What is the size of a data type in our machine? That I am going to check. So first, let me discuss with you a very basic program of how we can write a C program. This is the way of how we can write a C program, right? In last class, I have already discussed in the various basic architecture of a C program. The first architecture is the documentation section. In the documentation section, we can write that the program is a basic one and it was developed by Sanjay Chakraborty. It's my name. Okay, so I already told that we can write anything to represent the basic logic or to represent the basic intention of doing this program in the form of command line. Okay, so we can use double slash as a command line, double black slash as a command line, or we can use backslash star and star backslash as a command line. Okay, this is also applicable. Now the thing is that what is the difference between these two? Double slash is using for representing to make a comment on only a single line. If there are multiple command lines exist, if there are multiple command line exist, Suppose there is another command line. Yes,
Sir.
please.
Sir, I've lost. Sir, please tell it once more. I've lost my connection.
Okay. So this is the basic structure of a C program where my objective is to print some statement with the help of C program. Print some statement with the help of C program. Suppose I want to print a statement hello world with the help of this C program. And this is the basic program that I am using to print the statement. Okay. The objective of the program is clear. The input of the program is clear. Now the second thing is that if you remember, I divide the basic structure of C program into these common sections. If you remember, in last class I discussed about it. Documentation section, link section, definition section, global declaration section, main section, then user defined function section. Here in this program, I am mainly discuss about with you about the documentation section, link section, main section, these three section only. Okay. These three section only. So obviously you understood that thing that these sections are optional, or as per your use you can implement it. But at least you require these three sections to run a basic C program. At least you require these three sections to run a basic C program. Okay. To run a more in-depth applications, you will go for the other sections. Okay. Now, suppose I am writing the overall objective of this program. Program is a basic one, and it was developed by my name Sanjay Chakraborty, and this is a basic statement print program, right? So I can represent this line as a command line. Okay, so we can use multiple slashes to represent this as a command line. Okay, it is called command line. What? Comment line. Okay, comment line, right? You don't need to write comment line. I'm just talking with you regarding, just discovering with you that what is the name of this kind of line. So comment line. So I can use individually double slash to in the front of each and every comment line, or to make it more easier, instead of using two double slash at the front of each and every line, I can use slash star and then star slash. Okay. So if there are multiple command lines, this slash star and star slash has a major role to play. Otherwise, you need to insert each and in front of each and every line, you need to insert the double slash. Okay, that is the only difference, nothing else. Okay, and this section is called documentation section. Documentation section. Okay, which I already discussed. Now, this section, which I am going to discuss in these two green color lines, this section is called link section. That means this section is used for the linking of these header files along with the source code. So this is our source code. This is our source code. Okay, the main method is our source code always. Okay, all the statements, main method, and after the main method is our source code. And before the main method, these .h are called header files or